Hello from the Sorvinos. Thanks for joining us for our live signing of the Pinot and Pasta and parties. For good luck, we're going to toast, right, honey?
Absolutely.
I'm Dee Dee Sorvino, and of course, this is the wonderful actor of the world, the best actor ever, my husband, Paul Sorvino.
The more you say that, the better. I like it.
So we'll toast to that and our book, Pinot,
Absolutely.
Pasta, and Parties. Now we can get the business.
A very fine Italian wine.
And what is that, honey?
Tignanello. Delicious wine. Sangiovese wine.
In the book, we talk about different wines and give you an idea of what works with what and sort of a guideline. And Paul loves wine and he drinks it all the time. I drink it part of the time, but the other half, I drink cocktails. And so the reason we're here, of course, is we want to sign books for you, answer questions. Some people are going to have win prizes, and some people can, find out whatever they want about us as long as Paul is okay with it. And, you go to pinotpastaandparties.com, and that is where you can get your signed copies available from us, the Sorvinos. Now, honey, what was your favorite part of doing the book?
Working with you.
Aww.
We wanted to do something together. That's why we wrote the book together. She conceived the book, said, let's write a cookbook together. It had been something in the back of my mind. I said, okay, but I don't really have an idea for it. You can't just start writing recipes. She said, I do. So she conceived the book, and our house became like a war room with eraser boards and everything, and she put up all these categories. And there's different menus. It's not just recipes. It's a marvelous compilation, menu to menu, chapter to chapter, of total meals. So it's easy to do, and it's very authentic Italian food. I'm cooking since I'm 12, and the Neapolitan restaurant recipes in here are originally from Naples, exactly unadulterated, without any changes whatsoever. You learn how to make marinara, how to make filante di pomodoro, how to make pasta fagiolo, pasta fasoli, pasta fasola, pasta fagioli, ragu, and all the great Neapolitan dishes.
So, honey, I think we can probably get to our first question.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah, and then, I'll talk about the book all throughout.
I'll drink wine while you take your question.
Please do. So the first question is from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Oh, I love Oklahoma.
I lived there for 6 months as a child.
I know.
Great
It's
place,
a great
beautiful
town.
place, yeah.
And every time we go through, I'm supposed to get some boots. So next time I want those cowboy boots. So Henry, honey, help me with the last name.
This is Henry Primo III.
And the question is, what was the best meal that you ate, and what movie did you eat it in?
We don't eat meals in movies.
Just here's a news flash, Henry. They spray the food. They spray the movie food with like WD-40 or something. And it's always like, never eat the food on a set because it's not edible. However, the edible in our kitchen, as you can kind of see, Paul just came in. He rushed in from
Making the food
Pizza
at a
Kitchen.
restaurant, yeah.
Yeah, and Bella Blue, by the way, they're good friends of ours.
Wonderful.
And we're in Midtown Manhattan. We live in LA. And right now, we're traveling. So, at one of our favorite restaurants, I'd say actually our favorite restaurant.
Bella Blue.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Our favorite restaurant, and they have a wood fire pizza oven. So Paul was there making the pizza, whipping up the pasta, and ran over here to make sure that the pizza looked beautiful, and it really, really is. So we'll get a shot of that later. But in a movie, the food's not real.
You eat and when you're being served. And those in Goodfellas, they served us food. I don't think there was any scenes where I ate in the food. I don't.
You were always
that.
fixing it. You were cutting the
I'm
garlic,
always-
frying the sausage,
Yeah.
and
directing the meat sauce, which is the ragu.
But what's your
Which I'm sure
favorite
you have
meal?
made.
What's your favorite meal that you've ever eaten in your?
Pasta fagioli,
Yeah.
pasta fasola. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. When the stars seem to shine, when you had too much wine, that's a. Also, dreaming, no, you're not dreaming, signore. Just like a pasta, when you dance out the drool, just like a pasta fazool, that's amore. That was written, I found out today, by an Italian whose American name was Harry Warren. He wrote That's Amore. He wrote so many great songs. He's one of the great American songbook composers.
So, is it okay if we sign the book to Henry now? let's sign our first book. This is fun. This is our very first
This
book
is it. You get
from
it,
Henry.
Henry.
So here we go.
If we're still sober by the time.
Well,
we're finished.
yeah, like you're lucky because the other folks, you don't know what our signatures are going to look like.
All right.
All right. So, speaking of drinks, I've got 10 cocktails in every chapter, and they're signature cocktails. They're new. And probably the most popular so far is called the Goodfellow. And it's a very strong drink, but it's really smooth. So it's dangerous, just like a Goodfellow. I can't tell you the secret ingredient.
Gotta buy it.
You'll have to buy the book. But Paul
But you
thinks...
need railings next to you after you finish it.
Yeah, it's very, very strong. The food's wonderful.
Smooth.
The drinks are good.
Smooth.
We talk about stories in the book, and I tell you, since we've been doing signings, people keep saying, "Wow, I've never had a cookbook like this." And we want it to be that way. We didn't want it to be just like an encyclopedia. We wanted to put together full menus. So if you just point to a chapter, and if you follow the menu, you're all set. All you have to do is buy the ingredients, follow the instructions. You don't have to think about it. You just do it. So we put the theme. We made it fun. And that's kind of how we do it in our house. It depends on the number of people, or if it's a holiday or a theme or whatever. And that's how we put together our meals. And we wanted to share that with you. So the next question, honey, why don't you read it?
How many?
From Karen. From Gato back to Karen.
As in Goodfellas. Karen, how many do you have gathered during the holidays? Karen, interesting question. That varies.
And from Wiley, Texas. Love
Wiley,
Texas.
Texas. That varies. It depends on who's around, where we are in the city. If we're in the east, it usually is my son and someone else, and maybe my brother and sister-in-law.
It's a bigger crowd in the east.
It's a bigger crowd in the east.
Not so much.
In LA, it's my daughter, her husband, the 4 children, and sometimes other guests. So maybe 10. We've had as many as 20, So
And then if we're in the Midwest, everyone wants to come over, and it'll be like, I don't know, about 300. So it depends where we are and what's going on.
Yeah.
So Karen,
Let's sign a book.
let's sign your book. Wiley, Texas. I don't know where Wiley, Texas is. Texas is such a big state. It's not as easy to pinpoint. But boy, it's a great state. I love Greg Abbott. That's a governor. He's amazing.
In the Army in Texas, in El Paso.
That's right. I lived in Austin, Texas when I worked on a presidential
great
campaign.
city.
Yeah. All right, let's see what the next question is. That's a good wine.
Yeah,
Isn't
it's pretty
it?
good. It's called Tignarello. It's a Sangiovese, 2013.
So what was the first meal you two ate together? And there's no name. When we do that, I don't know who.
During the holidays, she's saying.
Yes. What's the first meal you two ate together? No, this is a different question, this one.
The first meal we ate together.
Oh, I know. Do you remember?
I'll
Del
remember.
Frisco's.
Del Frisco's, right, immediately as soon as we met.
Yeah.
That was an hour after we met.
We met at Fox News. Paul was on with Neil Cavuto, and then I took his chair. And then the producer said, Paul, do you want to go over and get a drink at Del Frisco? And Paul said, is she coming?
Is she coming? I said, make sure you invite her. So he kind of insisted, you gotta come, Paul Sorvino, you gotta come. So she goes there, and I'm standing right next to her, because I fell in love with her the minute I saw her. And she's sitting, and I push right up next to her. I won't let anybody get near her. And I'm not an aggressive person. I'm an old school Italian gentleman. I've never been aggressive with women, never could be. But all rules were off. So I'm sitting there, and I put my arm around her after about 5 minutes. And she didn't smack me, or, I got away with that. A couple of minutes later, I did this. Involuntary.
He did.
I did it, I got away with it, and a year later we were married.
And usually, if some New York guy just sat next to me and kissed me like that, I would have kicked him off the chair for sure, no doubt about it. But with Paul, it just seemed right. It was right. And then we're married now 2 years and coming up on 2 years and 4 months.
Yep.
And now we have a book, and we're so excited about it. It's just a beautiful book. You never know what it's going to look like. Sometimes when people do books, it kind of looks like they put them together at Kinko's. Well, you never know. So when we opened the box, I teared up because I was so happy to see it. It's just one of those gift books. And, you know, we just, you know, can't say how beautiful it is. I mean, you can kind of tell.
You see it.
Obviously, you know, and then the pages, and the photography is great. Vince did a great job on the photography.
A lot of wonderful pictures of us, of the food, of our lifestyle. It's not just about food, it's about our lifestyle.
It's a fun book.
Why don't we sign this?
It's a feel-good book, yes.
All right.
And I have to say that it seems like the biggest reaction, and it seems like the most important audience are the moms, because everyone keeps saying, oh, now that I've seen it, I've got to buy another one for my mother.
Yeah.
And it's a mom book. And by the way, we dedicated it to both of our mothers.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it'll be a good gift for Mother's Day that's coming up. Mom would like this book. It's a feel-good book. It's a positive book. It's a book of
A
love.
lot of recipes of Mom in here.
Love, Italian
Mama
food.
Sorvino's meatballs and a lot of other recipes in there for Mama.
Paul's got the best meatballs, and it took him a long time to figure it out.
Take me a year.
His mom made meatballs, and Paul asked his mom how to do it, and then
Well,
what
you
happened?
put some of this and you put some of that. You know, the mothers of old time, they didn't measure. They, put some of this and add some of this. So it took me about a year to figure it out. And I figured it out and finally came out just like hers were. And I can't make enough. I make it for parties. I threw one for Disney once when I was doing a show for them. And all the Disney executives were there. I made 60 meatballs. They were gone in 8 minutes. The vice president of Disney ate 6 of them, and I don't make these little Swedish meatballs.
He makes big
I make
meatballs.
baseballs, and he just kept eating. He ate 6 of them in a row. So, you know, I knew they're really. I don't put them in the gravy. I just leave them in a bowl, cooked, fried, beautiful, and that's how I make them.
But in the book, we do have, just like we have here, we
I make spaghetti and
meatballs. And they're just so wonderful. And there's a secret ingredient in the meatballs too. You have to buy the book.
That's right.
But it's definitely worth it just for the meatballs and a Goodfellow alone to find that secret ingredients. So the next question is, what is your favorite cuisine besides Italian? That's a great question because it seems like we eat Italian all the time and we love it. But here and there we will eat other food.
Well, I think you like Thai, don't you?
I like all Asian
Or
food.
Indian, yeah.
I like all Asian food. I like
We
it
just
spicy.
had a terrific meal at a Korean restaurant. Mm-hmm. So I'm learning to like. I never liked it. For me, I ate Italian food and then goodbye. That was it. But Dee Dee has introduced me mostly. I mean, Chinese food, of course, is wonderful if it's a good restaurant. But Dee Dee's introduced me to Asian food and Indian food, and it's really good.
Well, and the thing about Asian food is it's got really great spices. I went to Vietnam for a month, and the food, Vietnamese food, is the best. I think I have to say Vietnamese food is just so wonderful. And but it's usually Italian. We eat Italian most of the time, at least, 4 times a week it seems. At least 4 days a week.
The last 4
there's
days
Italian. The last 2 weeks have been Italian. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I'm not kidding.
Well, we have a wonderful
Because we eat
dish.
the leftovers.
We eat the leftovers. We eat them up and eat them. We have a wonderful dish for breakfast called eggs in purgatory, which is eggs in a tomato sauce, either a filetto di pomodoro, which is an onion sauce, or a marinara, which is a garlic sauce. And you heat that up. You take some leftover sauce that you made another night for pasta, and you heat it up, and you break eggs into it. You put on the cover, and when the eggs are whitened over, the egg, of course, the whites have to be cooked, and when the yolks are kind of milked over, you take it out and serve it with Italian bread. It's out of this world.
And when it's prepared correctly, and Paul's a master at it, he gets the eggs exactly right.
Gotta know when to take them off.
It's a beautiful dish. It's just one of those dishes, like it's really pretty, but if you don't know how to do it, it doesn't look right at all.
You can really judge a chef by how he does the eggs. You can always tell a good cook by how they do the eggs. And they do the eggs right, they're good cooks.
I love this next question, and it's funny because it's exactly what I was thinking after I talked about the eggs in purgatory. And it was, what is your biggest cooking disaster? And I know we both will say the same thing. So go ahead, honey. Tell everyone our biggest cooking disaster.
Do I have to? Well, one was chicken soup.
Oh my.
The worst chicken soup ever made on the planet. I had made chicken soup first and it was good.
It was great.
And the next time I made it, it was inedible. You don't feed it to the hogs. For some reason.
I don't remember. It was because you've got to get a whole chicken. You've got to get chicken from the
You gotta have the
bones.
right ingredients. I didn't put the right
And
ingredients.
all we have is chicken breast. It doesn't work.
No good.
You have to have the chicken with the bones and the
And you have
skin
to
and
put in
the.
the correct vegetables,
Yeah,
not the
just-
wrong vegetables.
That just proves the point of when we say you have to have the best ingredients you can find.
It's in here.
Yeah, it's in the book. But I think the very worst disaster is when we were, we cooked a lot. I mean, we cooked a long time, all day, every day, some days, to make the deadline. So we'd start, and Paul would be all blurry-eyed and kind of like,
Well, I'm cooking today. I was blind. I turned on the light, turned on the stove. What do I have to cook now?
He's in his underwear only and his hair all messed up, and he's like, what am I doing? so maybe it was on one of those days, but we tried to make, we did
Chicken
make
cacciatore.
chicken
Disaster.
It was horrible.
Oh my goodness.
I don't even know what happened.
Inedible. You can't eat that stuff.
It was embarrassing.
But we have a great recipe for it in here because we made it again.
Well, we got it
really
right.
made it right.
Yeah, so don't get discouraged if you don't get things right the first time because it happens to everyone.
Remember, Paul had to make the meatballs 10 times before he got it right. So don't feel discouraged. If you get to this recipe, and I didn't have the right measurements, but this book gives it to you, won't take long to learn how to do it. And cooking, there's another thing, is cooking Neapolitan food is not terribly difficult because Neapolitan food does not take a lot of different spices. It's very simple. And the simpler the better, and it is so delicious. To my mind, the best Italian cooking is Neapolitan cooking. And American food is now Italian food. What's our favorite food? Pizza, spaghetti and meatballs. Hoagies, subs, they call them. I didn't know what that was till I was 40 years old. What's a hoagie? Hoagie Carmichael, the songwriter? No, it's a hero sandwich.
Honey, this is the next question.
All right.
I'm going to show one of our
honey.
dishes because I know that this is the answer to my question.
This is what were your favorite meals
Growing up.
when you were growing up?
Look how beautiful this pizza is.
Oh, that's a nice
Now,
pizza.
Paul, again, we said earlier that he went down to the local restaurant
Yeah, let me explain.
for the wood fire. What is it? How many degrees is it, honey?
Well, they have them, 900 degrees.
Yeah.
But we had to adjust it for the book because nobody has that kind of an oven. So we do it in a regular oven at 475 or 500 for 15 minutes. But the ingredients are the same.
And we make our own dough, of course. We're not
Make your
gonna,
own dough.
Get store-bought dough.
And
And the best cheese and the best, we've
you
got.
want to get the best of whatever you can get, the best mozzarella. And by the way, you can use a packaged mozzarella for this because it's not
It's
as...
from Italy.
Yeah, you can use it from Italy if you can get it. If you can't, you can use the packaged mozzarella. And it's okay because you're going to cook it. And so it does not... But the tomatoes, you either have to use fresh tomatoes or try to get San Marzano tomatoes in a can from Italy. Try to get the imported ones, and then you have this, and it's out of this world.
And of course, this beautiful. Isn't that nice? I love this. Oh,
Now this,
so beautiful.
you put a little parsley on it, see?
Basil.
Fresh, basil, excuse me. Parsley's for the pasta.
Yeah. We've got parsley for the pasta and basil for the pizza.
The pizza is so good with basil. I put a little already, but I'm just going to show you. I'm going to do a little
But
more.
it makes the biggest difference if you can get.
Oh, yeah.
And if you can have an herb garden,
Oh, yeah.
we
Easy.
always have basil around, fresh basil, so we pick off the
keep
leaves.
fresh basil in the plant.
Because margarita, you have to have it. It's not
This
the
is
same.
called a margarita pizza, which means it's just the tomatoes, the mozzarella, a little olive oil drizzled on it, and the dough, and you put it in, and it's out of this world. That's the best.
Remember, go pizza. Go ahead, tell them, honey.
Which one?
Pinot, Pasta, and Parties.
Pinot, pasta, and parties.
.com, so you can get your signed books
Yes.
and learn how to make this pizza. We
This
have
pizza
the
is-
meat pizza.
Americans, we eat pizza. You know, it's like the biggest food we eat. In America, I think it was something like 4 billion slices a year or so.
Everyone loves pizza. Everyone loves it. And I have to tell you, for
Nobody
parties,
doesn't eat pizza. Everybody eats
for
pizza.
parties, if you're worried and you absolutely are
Make 3 or 4 of
racking your
these, you're done.
brain,
You're done.
just have a pizza party and you can't go wrong. People, even if you have people help make the pizzas, and make the dough, and people like getting their
Not
hands
that
into
hard.
it. I use
You
a
want to
rolling
cheat?
pin.
Buy some dough. I'm not going to come to your house. The main thing is use good quality of tomatoes, and we'll show you in the book. You can prepare your own tomatoes. We show you that in the book.
Well, Paul's very hands-on because he's a sculptor. Another thing Paul does is, he's a Renaissance man. He really does everything well. In the kitchen, he's truly an artist. He takes his food very seriously, and he likes to knead the dough. He likes to work with the dough in his hands. Also, he does the same with the tomatoes. He literally will take them with his hands and take the Roma tomatoes like it's a big bowl full.
You have to prepare
It's a
them.
lot of
I'll show
work.
you how.
But you don't have to do it that way.
You can do it with fresh tomatoes. You blanch them for 35 minutes in boiling water, put them in ice water, take them out, take off the skin will come off, and squeeze them and put them on there. All right.
It's time consuming, but it makes the biggest difference
Oh
in the
yeah.
world.
But the pizza from San Marzano is very, the
the
tomatoes
tomatoes
from
are
San
good.
Marzano is very good.
And tell everyone why those tomatoes are better than everyone else's.
Because they come from near Naples, which is near Vesuvius, which is volcanic ash. The ground, the territory around these volcanoes is volcanic, and it just makes for a much better tomato. So the finest tomatoes in the world are grown in San Marzano, which is near Naples, around Naples, and that's the one you want to try to get. Look, if you can't get it, get regular, good, best quality tomatoes you have. It's still going to be good if you make it with love.
And tell our friends about a little bit about our Italy trip. We just went.
Oh boy, we had.
About the food and Naples being the best.
We went to 5 cities. We went to Bolzano, which is up near Austria. We went to Milano, which is the hustling, bustling, New Yorkish type city in Italy. We went to Firenze, Florence, where the great masters of art in the Renaissance, Michelangelo, that's where the statue of David is.
And you were just playing the Monster of Florence with Gary Sinise on Beyond Borders. So it was
That's
fun
right.
because we saw the show, and then we went there, and they did a
Oh,
good
that's
job.
right.
It looked exactly the same.
We were in Rome, which is majestic and magnificent.
Oh, Rome's the best.
Oh my God,
Other than New York?
Rome is
Rome.
fantastic.
Oh my gosh,
And
amazing.
then we went to the place where my father was born and where my people go back 1,000 years, where our coat of arms comes from. I'm actually a knight. My name is Sir Paul Sorvino. I don't want to say that, but it's true. And
He loves saying it.
it's Cavaliere di Gran Croce. And Naples was where we went to Naples at the Hotel Vesuvius, which is right on the water, which is called Santa Lucia, right on the Bay of Naples. You look to the right, you see Vomero, which is where my people are from, up on the hill. You look to the left, you see Vesuvius. And we went to the hotel where Enrico Caruso, the greatest singer who ever lived, died. He was Neapolitan. And we went to the Caruso room upstairs and had a dish of linguine alla vongole, which means linguine with clam sauce, which we tell you how to make. And
so-
it was heaven.
So I'm getting from messages that we're not on, that Matthew West is on or something. So are we on?
No, you're
Okay, good. Look, maybe I have people that can't find us. So I want to be clear and just say pinotpastaandparties.com, and then they go to the live signing. Okay, well, they're just lost. Just text you, just keep trying. But we're happy to have you all here. We're having a ball. We love our book. And we can get to the next question. I don't know what to tell you.
Very hard for me to look at
everything.
pizza without eating it.
Well,
You
go
know
ahead and
that.
eat it then. You can go ahead and eat it, of course.
I didn't
Just
cut it,
Rip
so-
it right off.
I didn't cut it.
Do you want me to get you a cutter?
Get a little knife, yeah.
Yeah.
We're not at our own home, so we don't have all the
I tell you
influence.
what you can do before you do that, when I get the cutter, our next question is, what is in the Goodfellas feast? So you can tell them what you want to tell them. That's here.
The Goodfellas
Give them
drink?
a feast. This is the Goodfellas menu. And give them an idea. We already kind of touched upon the Goodfellas drink being very strong and very smooth, and it has a secret ingredient that makes it smooth and amazing. It's just really, really good.
Well, we have the menu. It's called the Goodfellas Feast, and it's Chef Paul's Peppers and Olives, which is out of this world. Zuppa di pesce, which means a fish soup, which is a Neapolitan fish. A fish recipe. It's a soup that you make, and you put in the fresh fish in different kinds. A lasagna alla mamma. Everybody knows what lasagna is, and I give you the authentic Neapolitan way to make it. It's fantastic. Porchetta, which is pork and made in a certain way, which we tell you how to make in the book. And then we have vegetables. We have zabaglione for dessert, which is like a cream, a kind of a sweet, almost not just sweet, but it's an almost liqueur tasting sweet with strawberries and blueberries. Then we have almond biscotti. Those are the nice little almond
So
biscuits and chocolate chip biscotti. And but if you want, you can also make a spaghetti carbonara, which is another kind of pasta with cream and bacon and things like that. But this is a great recipe.
Yeah, and then this is a heavy-duty menu, and that's with the Goodfellow. That's what it should be.
Gotta have
You
a
know,
little.
Yeah,
Sorry.
of course, honey. And that's a man who loves food and loves Italian food. And his is great. He put so much care into it. And I have to tell you, when people come over, they never leave. I have many
You
times.
can't get anybody out.
I have many times said, okay, I'm out.
Well, she goes
I
to
got to
bed.
go to bed. Here, just
She
let
leaves them
yourself
for me to
out.
deal with.
You know, if you want to stay over, that's fine. You know, if you want to break open some more wine, that's great. But I'm out. I'm done. I can't keep up with you
I
people.
gotta have a taste of this.
It's so good. And the thing about Neapolitan pizza, of course, is it's very, very thin. It's a different crust. You know, and we've got a really wonderful veggie pizza. We've got the margarita. We've got, you know, the meat pizza. Say it the way it's supposed to be
We
said.
have
honey.
napkins over there. Rules.
Oh yeah, we've got real napkins. Okay, you know, I just whip out the paper towels.
That's what everybody does, right?
I know, right? I always do
We
that.
all use paper towels in America for napkins. Everybody does. Unless you want to be hoity-toity like we are now.
So, honey, say the meat. I always say the meat pizza, but it's got a proper name. How do you say it? Why
Meat?
you got food in your mouth?
Well, you can put sausage, pepperoni. You can put
No, but it's called Solomeri. I can never say it right.
No,
I'm
it's not.
terrible at saying Italian
called
words.
salomeria, which means cold cuts. You can put any kind of cold cuts on that you want, even bologna, but I wouldn't suggest it.
No.
Use prosciutto. You can use any kind of, it's in the book, but you can use whatever you want. And then you make the pizza like this, and then put the cold cuts.
Yeah, so each menu, you know, that's a heavier menu, but there are others that are lighter and those that are in the middle. So you can just, you know, pick a chapter and go for it.
Boy,
and you
that's
don't have
good.
to think about what to put together.
I'm sorry, but I have to tell you, I make a great pizza.
You do, honey, I know. You don't have to think about it. We've thought about it for you. We've done all the work. We've done all the research, all the mistakes. We made them for you, so you can just go to the chapter and that's it.
True.
All right, let's see. The next question is, which wine pairs best with ramen noodles? Well, it's got
Ramen noodles?
ramen noodles.
What is ramen?
You know, honey, those little noodles. You know, like college students.
Oh, yeah.
They're poor and they're in
Which
they're
wine?
really super
There isn't
thin.
a proper wine for that, but depends on what you like.
Well, I think it would have to be a white wine.
That's what I
It
was
should
going
be
to
a
say.
light wine.
Try a Lacrima Christi or try a Pinot Grigio. And that would be fine. Those are Italian wines. You can also use a Sauterne, which is has a little more body. I particularly like that white wine from Jadot. It's a very nice wine. Forget the name of it now.
I like Fardiente white wine. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's so good. Yeah. And, you know, I think with ramen, because it's just, it's a little, it's sort of, in my opinion, kind of a casual noodle. And it is light, so you're not going to go
Use
red.
a white wine, or if you want to use a red wine,
Pinot
you can
Noir.
use a Chianti.
It'd have to be a Pinot, I think.
Pinot is good for
I
that.
think
Very
with
Pinot
ramen,
is light.
if you go red, go Pinot for sure.
I agree.
You know, and
Any good. By the way, in wine, pretty much what you pay for is what you get. You really you can't. There are bargains. You can read wine journals and all of that, but pretty much, if you buy cheap, it's going to be cheap. Sometimes you find something good for $12 or $14. You can stay with it.
Our advice is to look for the sales. Really watch the
That's
sales
true.
when it comes to wine. Because when you go to the wine section, most stores and wine stores, they will have the tab of the specials.
They
Take
will.
them. Always go for them. Because, they know what they're
Well, we
doing
have
usually.
a chapter on wines in here.
Yeah,
It
we do.
advises you.
We do, but that's just kind of our own personal experience because we buy wine weekly, and we buy a lot of it. So we've had very good luck with the recommendations from
We don't
the
drink
stores.
a lot of wine.
And by the way, we love big wine glasses. And red wine, the bigger the glass, the
It's
better.
a nice big glass
Yeah.
we have here.
Because you can swirl it around
Very nice, yeah.
and make it better and better and better very quickly. Little
explain-
wine glasses, especially for Paul. He's a big guy, got big hands. The little wine glasses,
Well, you can't swirl it right.
no. And
The
swirling is
reason you
very
have
important.
red wine this way is so you can do this. When you have any kind of wine that may not be like quite as good as this Tignanello, you might, and even with this, you want to
Nice
open
legs.
it up.
Look, nice legs.
Yeah, it's beautiful. You want to open it up. Color is important, so you can tell by that. and you swirl it for about 15 seconds. That's kind of equivalent to leaving it out and letting it breathe for an hour. You want red wine to breathe. White wine, you don't have to.
No.
Red wine, you do. When you do this, we say it opens up, and you drink it, and it's much better.
And as soon as you open a bottle of wine, if it looks like if it's the color of a Coke or color of coffee,
Get rid of it. No
just
good.
don't even try it.
It's
You just
churned.
take it back to the retailer and they'll take it
churned.
back.
They'll take it back.
But if you drink half the bottle, it's a little hard to return it. So it's best to just put the cork on and go to the next bottle. It happens all the time. But I will give California a nod for this. We have found that the California wines are the most consistent in the world.
True.
They're just so consistent.
Because the weather never changes.
Right.
California weather is the same.
I mean, a French wine and Italian wines, they're lovely and wonderful.
You got to worry about when the weather was good.
But they're not as consistent.
Like a Barolo from 2011 is very good. From 2013 is good. From various years. You don't have to buy the very old wines. You don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on wines. You have to spend some money.
So some people are still having trouble finding us. I don't know why.
Livesigning.com.
It's livesigning.com.
Yeah,
Livesigning.com.
What a shame.
And you can go to YouTube and type it in, and it comes right up too.
We're losing people,
are
huh?
having trouble. I don't know why. I mean, so I just want to make
We're
sure we
losing
get it
people.
right. So
yeah, there's a wrong link in banner.
there's a what?
There's a banner on the page that's going to.
Right. Okay. I know it should be easy, but hey, it's always good to give extra instructions.
It's also fixed on pizza pasta parties.
Okay. PinotPastaParties.com also. Okay, so let's get to another question. Besides good food, good drinks, and good people, is there anything else a dinner party needs? Yeah.
Good drinks.
Well, they said good drinks. They said good food, good
Good-
drinks,
good-
good people. and
Good
so anything-
attitude.
Well, you've got to think about it because I've never thought potluck was lucky. I always thought it was unlucky. Because when you say, just bring whatever, for one, I would never ask people to bring anything. If they want to bring a wine that they prefer and like, that's great, of course. But I think if you're a host, you need to be a host. You should provide all the food, put it together, and put a lot of thought into it. Otherwise, why do it? So
Potluck
but
is,
that's
it's a
just
bad
me.
idea.
Yeah, and because everyone brings that terrible green bean casserole, which nobody eats except at a potluck, because it's easy. It's like, I don't know.
And then they serve cake on a napkin.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, don't serve cake on a napkin.
Nah.
It's just, no. So, the thing that's great about the book is you need a plan, and the book gives you a plan. I can't stress that enough. I mean, I was a party planner for years. I have been. And I have walked into so many situations where the plan was not there at all. No planning whatsoever. So you have 6 desserts, and you have 1 small bowl of pasta or whatever. No. With the book, you've got a plan. You've got a schematic. You've got a map. It makes it easy for you. So yes, you need the right plates and nice napkins. I mean, it doesn't have to be expensive, but you need to plan it out.
It's more taste than cost.
Yes.
Because
You can have very good taste and do it on a limited budget.
Yeah.
So you think about the budget, and then you plan it out. You just put it down, and we've done that. I mean, we really didn't put down what the meals cost. We did leave that out. But you have a pretty good idea. Pasta fazool,
costs nothing.
inexpensive.
You feed the whole
It's
family
beans,
for $6.
And that's why it's a family meal. I mean, a lot of Italians, they have a lot of kids.
That's
So
in Naples, where it was born. Sometimes they had a lot of children. They didn't have money they could eat some fish, but meat, and forget it. So they would make pasta fazool. You feed the whole family with 2-3 pounds of macaroni and a few pounds of beans, a little olive oil, garlic, little tomatoes, a few tomatoes, not much. You're done. You feed the whole family.
So if
and
you
what
got
is
a
it,
small
$7,
crowd-
$8, $10?
Yeah. So that's great for a big crowd because you can just dish it out.
It's a great dish
it
for
out.
that.
You've got a big
Pasta
crowd,
costs-
it's fun.
Pasta, look, if you insist on buying cheap pasta, okay. The best pasta comes from Italy. If you can afford it, try to buy it. It's cheap enough.
Or make it.
Or make pasta. You can make pasta. We don't teach them how to make the pasta in the book. But
It's
you can
pizza
find
dough.
plenty of places to make it.
Yeah, that's the next book. But we do pizza dough. And
We do pizza dough.
Yeah, anytime you can do homemade, but sometimes time is a factor. But that's the thing about pasta is it's quick. And people
And
love
cheap.
it.
It's cheap.
And cheap. And on Fridays, a lot of people, they don't eat meat at certain times of the year. So pasta fazool is a good one.
Pasta fazool, fried fish,
And we
a
have
salad.
we have some nice fish dishes.
We have some very nice fish
But
dishes.
that's hard for a big group. So that's the other thing. When you think about your number, you think about your budget. And I really like to have a theme of a party. You know, you can come up with anything. Maybe you've got Mother's Day coming up. Okay. I made a drink named after Paul's mother, Mariana Song. And it's a lovely drink because on Mother's Day, it's a champagne drink. And it's very pretty. So that would be a good Mother's Day drink. And then maybe some white wine champagne, you know, just regular champagne. And then you just go with the lighter, prettier dishes, set them out, and then, you know, you just think pretty and light and appreciative of mom. So that's a thought. And then another theme, because I thought of all the drinks and the food as themes, say a Halloween party. I've got a drink called the Green Witch, and it is really something. It's actually green. It's made with absinthe. And, you know, it's interesting because it's made with a drink that was illegal until 2007. But on Halloween, you know, anything goes. So that's kind of, you know, more experimental and just a more fun type of menu. But I think you should think of it in themes. So, honey, what's the next question we have? What do you normally eat for breakfast? Pasta and?
Sometimes pasta.
And eggs.
And eggs.
Pasta,
Very often
pasta and eggs.
make a delicious pasta and eggs, which is very simple to make. You just make cooked pasta, which means macaroni or spaghetti or whatever you want to call it. In Italian, it's called pasta. And you make the pasta. You scramble. You beat a couple of eggs, 2 or 3 eggs, depending how much pasta you're making. You put it into the hot pasta. You put a half stick of butter in there, some Parmesan or Romano cheese, salt and pepper. Mix it around over the flame a little bit so that it's not totally cooked, like it's a little bit liquidy. That's a great morning dish. That's one of the dishes. Eggs in purgatory, as I have mentioned to you.
That's fancy, but it is
That's
really,
fancy,
really
but
good.
the eggs, the spaghetti and eggs is very easy.
And it's
Make
very
with
good.
any kind of pasta.
As a Midwesterner, I'd never had it. I've never heard of it. And then Paul makes it probably once a week.
Yeah.
So this is one of our dishes, spaghetti and meatballs, and it's really just beautiful. I can't go too
That's
far
an
with it,
American favorite pasta.
but it's
meat.
beautiful.
What are the first thing that most people go into an Italian restaurant and order? Spaghetti and meatballs.
Boy,
So we-
it's just so good. And Paul's meatballs are the best. We touched
The
upon
best.
it earlier, but for the new viewers, it's maybe the best thing in the book.
Now this is a marinara sauce. That means it's made with garlic, and we teach you how to make it in there, and olive oil and tomatoes. And now this is parsley that you see on top. The meatballs are my special recipe with eggs, parsley, Italian pecorino cheese, and I'm not going to tell you the secret ingredient.
Yeah, the meatballs have a secret ingredient. To get the
Ah.
book just for the meatballs, it's worth it. I mean, you will never have meatballs
Ah.
like this again. I tried them. I'm like, what is that? Why are they so good? You have to buy the book. So 2 more questions. We've got a few more minutes left. The next question, I think we're both going to answer the same way. Honey, is the food better in New York, where we are now, or LA?
I'm going to get in trouble if I answer
Really?
that.
Really?
Well-
Sorry, LA, but it's New York, baby.
New York
All the
is
way.
capital of the
Forget it.
world.
No question about it.
LA has some brilliant people. LA has the movie business, the television business. It has some extraordinary people, there's no question about it. It has the best weather. It has 3 great things, weather, weather, and weather.
But they do have good produce. The thing
The
about
best
LA,
produce in the country.
they have great produce, always
That's
fresh.
a fact. Fruit, vegetables.
And that's a big
really good
deal.
thing.
That's not
For us, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
We have some water.
Yeah, of course. Pellegrino, we love Pellegrino.
We're drinking
We
the whole
don't
day
plug
and
a
all
lot,
night.
but we'll plug Pellegrino. So yeah, New York wins hands down, right, honey? Best restaurants, best food. Oh my gosh, no question. You know, we had our first meal here, so it's sentimental too.
We met here, we married here,
And had our first meal here.
had our first meal here. So this is
At
our
Del Frisco's, by the way. So, and then Sardi's on the first official date.
Yeah.
That was like when we met, but the
the
first
great
official date was
Sardi's,
at Sardi's.
the theatrical restaurant. It's a wonderful restaurant in the Broadway district. If you go to a Broadway show and then you go to Sardi's, that's a great night.
It's always fun too, because a lot of these restaurants have like a caricature of Paul Sorvino on it, so that's always fun. They go, oh, I sit by the caricature of Paul. So again,
These
Pinot
come out
Pasta,
really good, honey.
PinotPastaandParties.com to get signed books. And we've got one more question. What is your favorite holiday or special occasion to cook for?
That's a good question.
Well, I would say every day. We don't need. We don't.
really don't.
We have a holiday every day. We really do.
But
And-
if we're going to go, 'cause don't forget, in the Italians' history, Italian Americans, and in Italy, Naples primarily, Sunday is a big day. That's where everybody gets together and sits there for 3 or 4 hours at the table. I can't do that anymore, but that's what they did. And the mama would make a big pot of what we call ragu, or the gravy. In Brooklyn, it was called the gravy. In Neapolitan, it's called ragu.
Is
not
that
the
when
s-
it looks like a murder scene at the store? At the stove? The first time Paul did this, the stove,
Funny.
it looked like someone was murdered in the kitchen. I mean, there was red sauce everywhere. I'm like, what is this? He goes, you just gotta let it cook, and it blips, blip, and it's all over the place. But it's really good. So if you just
It's in the book, how to make it.
if you had something to do and you're just watching and catching the last couple of minutes, you can rewind and watch the whole thing and watch it over and over again, because we
They might
invite
want to
you
do
to
the
buy the
7
book.
fishes.
The 7 fishes.
They
That's
might
right.
want to.
That's true. We
It's
did part of that.
Christmas. The tradition is the Feast of the 7 Fishes, which they made all kinds of special fish, bacala and dried cod, and this. Don't go through that anymore. But it's a nice thing on Christmas Eve. It's a tradition in Italian families to not eat meat. So we have a fish dish. So what I do is just make spaghetti and clams, or we do something like that, a nice fish dish, and then complete the meal with some other nice vegetables. I like broccoli rabe. She doesn't care for it, but I make it, and then we have a nice salad and fruit. And we don't eat many desserts, but we have them in the book, the good ones.
The best one, I think, is the olive oil cake.
Oh, that's good. That's so
And
good.
you have to get the best olive oil, of course, but it's really wonderful. And then we had a dish named after my mother, a dessert, and it's Nancy's coffee and chocolate mousse.
Boy, is that good.
She loves coffee and she loves
Yeah.
chocolate, so it's great. So it's pinotpastaandparties.com to get your signed copies. It's a beautiful book. It's a great gift book. It's a wonderful Mother's Day gift book. I can't stress that enough, because all the moms, and everyone's saying, I got to get it for my mom now, because it's just one of those loving, warm, wonderful books that mom will love. So I think, how much more time do we have? Do we have the 2-minute warning? Are we good? We got 2 minutes, honey. You have anything else you want to say to our new
Well, I
friends?
want to ask if we are taking too much time between books.
No, we've only got 2 minutes left. We're done. So
Over?
that's what I mean. You've got
Over?
Yes, you've got the finale.
I thought we were going to do 2 hours.
Was it 2 hours? Did we go through 2 hours? No, I guess
1
not.
hour, that's it.
Paul wants to go
Do we
on.
know how
He wants
much
to
we
sell
did?
more
We don't
books.
know. Or
We're
do you?
still on air. We're
still on air?
Yes.
Hi, how did we do? That's like Mayor Koch of New York. So,
He is so
how
like
am I
that,
doing?
know, right? Oh my gosh. So, honey, what
Yeah.
are a couple lines from Goodfellas? I mean, I just like hearing to myself.
I don't have to turn my back on you. You better get that book, or I'll turn my back on you.
And
Don't
Paul,
make a jerk out of me.
buy the book. It'll be great. And we're going to do a national tour, so we'll come to your hometown and sign the books. But
yeah.
really, you should do it through Premiere. And get it done now. PinotPastaandParties.com. Pull it up on YouTube.
Such a wonderful, authentic book. It's the only Neapolitan cookbook you will ever find. There is no other.
And we're #1 on Amazon in cocktails, Italian cookbook, celebration of holidays. So that tells you
World's
it's a good
largest
book.
retailer. We're #1 in those categories. So.
And it's a heavy book. It's substantial. And we've got all these fun stories in it and great menu. And we want to thank Premier because they were great to do this for us.
Yeah.
Paul cooked pasta, spaghetti and meatballs, pizza.
And
We're having a
pizza.
great time with the wine. And we just thank you for sharing some time with us. And don't forget, PinotPastaandParties.com. You can pull it up on YouTube as well, and PremierCollections.com. So, Paul, tell them again.
You listen. How many times do I have to tell you? You don't want me to make you come to my... I don't have to come to your house, do I? If I have to come to your house, I'll come with the book. I'll sign it, and I'll give you a kiss on the cheek. If you're a woman.
And a razor blade.
On a razor blade,
And
to
a
cut your
clove of
garlic.
garlic for the guy, for your
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah.
So we've had a great time. Thank you very much.
Thank
Buy the
you.
book. You will not be sorry.